The Turn 4 Perspective. Weekly dirt racing news brought to you by Brooke John Peer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of season 2 of the Turn 4 Perspective. This week's episode covers 2 weeks of coverage from April 14th through today, which is April 28th. This episode will have a lot of information because we have a ton to cover with everything from race results to new sponsorships to car owners leaving. We have it all. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting off with the Word of Outlaws. The NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series was at Knoxville Raceway last weekend, meaning the 18th and 19th. But Friday was canceled, and on Saturday, Rico Abreu won. Now, this is because High Limit Racing has not been racing these past couple weeks, and they will not be covered in this episode because they haven't been racing. They got canceled down in Texas, and they haven't been racing since. I'm not exactly sure when they'll be racing again, but they haven't been racing lately. So that is why Rico won on Saturday. Now, flash forward to this weekend, meaning 3 days ago. They were at Jacksonville Speedway on Friday. Kyle Larson won that. And then on Saturday, Sheldon Haudenschild won at Tri-State Speedway. It's really good to see Haudenschild come back. He did get his first win, and I believe his first win at Tri-State Speedway, which was really cool to see. So that was cool to see, and obviously Larson, there's no surprise there. Larson is one of the best drivers to ever go. He is a GOAT. I don't personally like the guy, but you have to give credit where credit's due. Moving on to the Great American Beer late models. Yes, you heard that correctly. Great American Beer. So right after I did my episode for episode 6, the Word of Outlaws announced that the late model series got a new title sponsorship of Great American Beer. They are a beer company that was founded by Hulk Hogan, and it's called Great American Beer. And just like all of their other sponsorships, they're giving away free beer at events. They're having collabs with them. They're having flags put up. So if you have like a man cave or whatever, you can go get flags at your track or whatever. And all of that jazz. But the main thing is that they got a title sponsorship. And along with that, the Word of Outlaws now has an official beer in the form of Great American Beer, which I will have to go out and try myself at some point, which I've never had, but I have asked people, and they say it's good, and it's similar to like a Budweiser or like a light lager of some sort. So it sounds good. But going off of that, they didn't race last weekend, but they did race this past weekend. Although Friday was rained out, Saturday Bobby Pierce won, and that was at Talladega Short Track for the Alabama Gang 100. I know that they normally do a 3-day race, but with the NASCAR race being at Talladega, they obviously couldn't because all the fans would go over there. But that's cool that they did have like a little partnership with the track and NASCAR, and the winner of that race was Bobby Pierce. Moving on to the other sprint car series that was going this past weekend was the American Sprint Car Series, and they were supposed to be at RPM Speedway, but it got postponed due to weather, and they were supposed to have a Friday and Saturday night show, but Mother Nature got in the way of that. So moving on to the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, they had a 3-day show, but it was at 3 different tracks. So on Friday they were at Georgetown Speedway, where Devin Moran won the race. On Saturday, they went to Maryland from Delaware and went to Hagerstown Speedway, where Ricky Thornton Jr. won. And then from Maryland, they went back up to Pennsylvania to Port Royal Speedway, where RTJ took the cake again. That is no surprise coming from RTJ. He is also a GOAT. I'm also not a fan of the guy. He is very controversial and a very interesting character. I'm a fan of his antics, but as a driver, I'm not a fan, especially with what he did with the street stock race last year. Let the smaller guy have it. But he is a GOAT as well. Finally, moving on to the final series in for today's episode is the Super Dirt Car Series. They raced last Friday, meaning April 18th, and they were at Albany Saratoga Speedway. The winner of this race absolutely shocked me because I've never even heard of this man before, and that would be LJ Lombardo. He came ahead of Alex Yankowski and Eric Rudolph, who was in 5th. I didn't look at the scores well enough to tell you who came in 3rd and 4th, but I did see those big names, and those are big names, and this Lombardo guy smoked them all. So that was really cool to see somebody else getting in there. I didn't see Matt Williamson in that race. I do know he was in Canada at some point. He did have to leave due to a engine failure, but I didn't see him at this specific race. Maybe I just didn't look at the results well enough, but I didn't see that. But it is neat to see somebody else winning a major Northeast Dirt modified race such as this. Finally, to the final section of the episode, which is my favorite, the T section. The only T that I have besides the new sponsorship is that Alex Payne's car owner left him in the dust. So Alex Payne, who is an up-and-coming Super Dirt Car Series driver, lost his ride because his car owner pulled out on him. This means that he no longer has a ride, and he cannot compete until he gets a ride because he doesn't have his own car. So this is bad for Alex Payne because he was an up-and-coming driver. He has the skills that are required to play in this sandbox, in this field, all of that jazz. And now he can't because his car owner left. This goes back into the talk of should you own your own car? Should you rely on a car owner? Whatever. I've never been in this field, so I don't have, like, knowledge or wisdom or whatever to speak on it. But I personally say that if you want something done, do it yourself. I really think that you should own your own car and that it should be your own, like, gig or whatever, but that's up to y'all. And again, I have no say on that. I just bring news to you. And with that being said, this concludes our episode for this week. I hope you enjoyed. Please continue to send feedback. I really appreciate it. And unless a lot of news happens, this will be my last episode for the semester, not the season. So I'll be coming back in September with more news, hopefully. But if I don't see you now, I will see you then. And thank you.